Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I'm just getting ready to go sledging. I really love a cold and crisp winter's day. I'm glad I've got my hat and my mittens on. I can see some twinkling lights over there in the forest. Will you come with me and take a look? In a small wooden cabin in the winter forest lived a girl called Marta. Marta hoped that as the days got colder, frosty and snowy, that Silver Lake would freeze. For when the lake was frozen, it was the perfect place to ice skate. And today, winter had finally arrived. Marta couldn't wait to skate. She wrapped herself up in her hat, coat and brand new mittens and hurried off through the forest. When she reached the frozen lake, she was in such a rush to put on her skates that she dropped one of her mittens in the snow. Out of nowhere, a mouse came sliding through the snowdrifts. The mouse, after taking a good look at the mitten, decided it looked warm and roomy. So into the mitten the mouse slid. As fresh snow started to fall, along hopped a snowshoe hare, glad of her extra big feet. She padded her way through the thickening snow. She stopped and listened with her big ears. She thought she heard a soft sound coming from what looked like a hole in the ground. As she bounced nearer, she realised it wasn't a hole, but it did look warm and inviting. So into the mitten the hare leapt. Inside the mitten, the mouse moved up, twitched her whiskers, and went back to sleep. Out in the forest, at the top of a tree, a snowy owl was keeping watch, when out of the corner of his eye he spied something on the ground below. Spreading his wings, he swooped down low and landed softly beside the mitten. Not a normal looking nest for a snowy owl, but it still looked warm and homely. So into the mitten the snowy owl flew. Inside the mitten, Mouse and Hare moved up. Mouse twitched her whiskers, Hare flicked her ears, and they both went back to sleep. The forest was quiet. Any sound was dulled by the deep covering of snow. From behind a leafless tree, a curious reindeer carefully peered. He was gently pawing at the ground, moving the snow aside to reach anything that might be tasty underneath, when he noticed a funny brown shape nestled in the snow. It looked warm and cosy, so into the mitten the reindeer stepped. Inside the mitten, Mouse, Hare and Owl moved up. Mouse twitched her whiskers, Hare flicked her ears, Owl ruffled his feathers, and they all went back to sleep. Deep in the forest, Bear was making big footprints in the snow as she lumbered through the wilderness looking for somewhere comfy to take a nap. She was just about to take her next step when she noticed the mitten. It looked warm, but a little bit snug. But into the mitten the big bear squeezed. Inside the mitten, Mouse, Hare, Owl and Reindeer moved up. Mouse twitched her ears, which made Hare giggle. As Hare giggled, she flicked her ears, catching Snowy Owl's beak. Snowy Owl hooted with laughter. As he hooted, he ruffled his feathers. His fluttering feathers tickled Reindeer's nose. Reindeer's antlers shook with laughter, and as he shook his antlers, they prodded Bear's big, round bottom. Taken quite by surprise, Bear roared with laughter, causing all the animals to giggle, hoot, howl and roar even louder. With all the jiggling, nudging, prodding and poking, the mitten exploded, sending all the animals high up in the air. They all landed softly in a heap of snow, where they couldn't stop giggling. As the shadows grew long and the light started to fade, all the animals headed off merrily into the trees. Not far away, Marta was twirling and sliding, slipping and gliding across the sparkly white ice of Silver Lake. The chilly north wind was starting to bite, and Marta's hand felt cold, and the tips of her fingers were slowly turning blue without her mitten. It was time to head back to the warmth of the cabin. As Marta followed the path through the trees, she spotted something on a snowdrift. Could this be? Was it? It was! Her missing mitten. She picked it up, dusted off the snow, and slipped her cold hand in to keep it warm. As she headed home, she noticed that the mitten didn't seem to fit. It was definitely bigger and baggier than before. But with the glowing lights of the cabin shining through the trees and the smell of supper cooking on the fire, all thoughts of the mitten that was now too big were quickly forgotten. I love sledging and playing in the snow, but I think it's time for me to head home now. But I think I'll keep hold of my mittens.